The Detroit Lions are stealing the spotlight in the NFL, and for good reason. From an unlucky defender who turned into a valuable asset on the market to 2 major nominations at the league's awards ceremony, there's no shortage of excitement. Levi Onwuzurike is finally proving why he was a second-round pick, but can Detroit hold on to him as starting offers come knocking? Meanwhile, Goff and Dan Campbell are representing the peak of the Lions in the MVP and Coach of the Year races. There's a lot of good happening in Detroit, and you won't want to miss any of it. Make sure to hit the like button because this video is amazing. Levi Onwuzurike, the guy the Lions drafted in the second round, who seemed a bit unlucky early on, is finally making a name for himself, and rightfully so. After 3 tough seasons, the interior defender found his stride in 2024, staying healthy and delivering solid performances. He racked up 1.5 sacks, 13 QB hits, and 45 pressures this season. Impressive numbers for someone who had previously been more in the shadows than the spotlight. And Pro Football Focus stats back it up. A 69.4 overall grade, 67.1 in pass rush, and 64.1 against the run. Not elite, but definitely good enough to catch the attention of NFL teams. Now, with free agency approaching, PFF has already predicted a contract for him. 2 years, $16.5 million. It makes sense because this type of interior pass rusher who can collapse the pocket is a luxury in the league. Onwuzurike's pass rush win rate was 12.5% in 2024, putting him in the top 15 at his position. It's no surprise teams are ready to open their wallets. The Lions, of course, want to keep him, especially with Aleem McNeil's situation, another cornerstone of the defensive line, who tore his ACL and might miss the start of 2025. The problem? Detroit doesn't have a starting spot for Onwuzurike right now because DJ Reader is still around and likely will be until 2026. This means that even if the Lions re-sign Levi, he'd have to wait for a starting opportunity. And let's face it, players in their prime don't usually have much patience. So the question is, will Onwuzurike choose to stay in Detroit with a decent contract but a secondary role, or will he entertain offers from teams willing to make him an immediate starter? The offseason will tell, but he holds all the cards to capitalize on this moment. What do you think? Should the Lions invest to keep Onwuzurike or let the defender walk? Share your thoughts. And if you found this interesting, wait until you hear about Goff and Campbell's nominations for the NFL's most coveted awards. The Detroit Lions continue to reap the rewards of a monster season, with 2 key names from the franchise now in the running for major NFL awards. Goff and Dan Campbell have been nominated for Most Valuable Player, MVP, and Coach of the Year, respectively, further highlighting the incredible work this team has done. The award ceremony takes place on February 6th at 9 p.m., and these guys have a strong chance of walking away with trophies. Goff, who many doubted throughout his career, silenced his critics in style. He led the Lions to a historic 15-2 season, securing their second straight NFC North title and the top seed in the conference playoffs. He had a true MVP season, 37 touchdowns, a personal best 72.4% completion rate, and 4,629 yards, his highest in 4 years with Detroit. He only trailed Joe Burrow of the Bengals in passing yards league-wide. Oh, and he earned his 4th Pro Bowl selection. Goff is at his peak. But the MVP race is tight, with names like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson rounding out the list of finalists. It's going to be a close contest. Then there's Dan Campbell, the heart and soul of the Lions, proving he's much more than just motivational speeches. After taking over a struggling team in 2021, 3-13-1, he's transformed Detroit into a powerhouse. 3 consecutive winning seasons and back-to-back playoff appearances have cemented his legacy. With a respectable 39-28-1 record as head coach, he's up against Kevin O'Connell, Vikings, Sean Payton, Broncos, Dan Quinn, Commanders, and Andy Reid, Chiefs, for Coach of the Year. If he wins, no one will argue. On the flip side, Kirby Joseph, the safety who dominated in 2024 with 9 interceptions, the league's highest, was snubbed in the Defensive Player of the Year race. How? It's pure injustice. Meanwhile, the Lions' former coordinators, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, are both finalists for Assistant Coach of the Year. Johnson crafted the NFL's most explosive offense, averaging 33.1 points per game, while Glenn led a strong defense, particularly against the run. Now both are head coaches, Johnson with the Bears and Glenn with the Jets, but their impact on Detroit is still evident. There's so much good happening with the Lions all at once. The franchise is experiencing a golden moment, and these awards could be the icing on the cake. What a time to be a Lions fan. Onwuzurike might be on his way out, but it's impossible not to acknowledge how the franchise has become a powerhouse. Seeing Goff and Campbell among the league's best just highlights the team's incredible progress. Now it's time to hope Detroit keeps shining through the offseason and beyond. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all the latest news about your favorite team.